Poland's a happy boy. I quit my job. Goodbye, corporate world. You serve no ultimate purpose. This is the most beautiful, freeing thing ever. Beside my awakening that occurred February of 2010, this is another, the start of a significant chapter in that story since the story of the awakening. Yeah, we all need a job. We all need to work. We all need to contribute in order to expect any benefits from society. But people need to stop thinking in terms of, well, what do I need to do? I need a job. Well, I'll just get the first thing I can get. This, I know some of you feel you don't have a choice in that. We need to find the choices. We need to make the choices. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I happen to be in a position now to where that's okay. I have time to figure out more precisely but what that's going to be, what it's going to have to do with. But I need to be in nature. I need to work with nature and for nature, most importantly. Corporations, any company name, these are like, and I'm not being just figurative and symbolic, these are like the new gods, the new pantheon. People work for, spend their lives working for a corporation, supporting a company name, giving all their time, thought, and energy, most of their time, thought, and energy to that. After years and years and years, think about what you did. You gave it all to a company name. Well, I work for this company, and so I have to act and in some ways really convince myself that my company is better than these other companies. We just are, and I'm going to do everything I can to support that image, uphold that image of we are simply better. Why are we better? Well, here's a bunch of abstract reasoning that we all know doesn't make much sense. There's just so much time wasted. And it's the online courses you take when you work for a corporation. I'm not going to say which one I quit. There's some actual brainwashing going on, and we're supposed to be willingly complicit in this. I can't do that. Why would I? Why should all my time and thought and energy be wrapped around making money? Spending all my time supporting people who make more than me, who spend all their thought, time, and energy moving money back and forth between different institutions. That's what I'm supposed to spend most of my life doing? I don't think so. It's not going to work. You see, I'm awake now. Earth is a living being. I exist to support Earth, my mother. That's it. That's what my work needs to involve, whether we're talking about being paid for it, making it a career, or not. I'm intentionally only talking about job, work, employment in general terms. I need to either work with nature or with animals. For so many reasons I could go on to you about. I'm very, very serious about company names being treated as the new pantheon, the new gods and goddesses. Hollywood is another story. Actors, producers, directors, they're the new gods. And Hollywood is, Mount Olympus. And they, just like companies, corporations, and their names, their brand names, subvert, really, really, truly, consciously, knowingly, willingly subvert all the meaning, the inherent meaning in actual ancient symbolism. It is a magical act when you give your thought, time, and energy, especially energy and consciousness, portion of your own consciousness, damn it, to these things. It's fun to watch a movie every once in a while, uninterrupted by commercials. I do that maybe once, twice a month, if that. But now people really willingly want to be overwhelmed with it. It has to be HD. It has to be 3D. It has to be just have all your senses soak it up in every way possible. And then when the movie's over, you want to go find out about what's happening personally to the actors and everything about it behind the scenes. And what else can I find out about that the movie led me to actual information? You're letting Hollywood take your energy. That's a magical act. They know it is too. Stop giving yourself, your energy, your consciousness, yourself, to things that ultimately are defeating themselves, like company names. It's a name. It's an abstract thing. That and the money. That's its own story too. Some of you watching this are looking at me thinking, what's this guy doing? He just quit his job, didn't make a plan of what to do next. Well, that's right. I do have a plan. I just don't have it. I don't have it written out. Well, here I'm going to apply here and here and here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to invest. Not that kind of a plan. When people like me come around and talk about things like trusting in the universe, really, trust me, it's not a sentimental idea. It's not a concept. It works. Like any kind of magic, whether true magic or like in Harry Potter. And actually, let's go back to movies for a minute to provide an example. The movie Skeleton Key, they said the whole idea was it only works in so much as you believe it does. So if you approach anything magical with the idea of, well, let's find. I'm going to be a skeptic. Let's see if this works or not. Well, it's not going to if that's how you approach it. You're looking for truth entirely outside yourself. Live an authentic life. In order to do that, very simplified, that's why I quit my job. In order to be authentic with myself as much as everyone else, you watching and listening now. In order to do that, I had to leave. Talking about a major, popular, international corporation, and these places, they always, those of you who have worked for them or do now, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when they put you through these little training programs where you watch it and then they offer a little self-analysis afterward. What did you learn from what you just saw? And it shows you images of people working for the company, and they have a representative, at least one representative of every race. It's like Benetton colors, It's like, ooh, look how diverse we are. We embrace all humanity. And it's just so phony and contrived. But I'm supposed to pretend not to see it that way because I believe in the company. If I'd stayed with them, that would mean I have to take on. I would have to start speaking using terms like driving innovation and business acumen. That's not me. I don't care which company or corporation is better than any other. I do not care. There is no reason to care. It's not whether I see it or not. There, in fact, is no reason. In order to stay with them and become a company man and climb that ladder, I would have to learn to be a good actor and pretend to care. which means being inauthentic. Again, I cannot do that and will not. I hope everybody else will find a way to find themselves and just network, and let's create a better world. We don't even need to create it, it's here. Other than the fact that I had started to hate my boss, I don't want to hate anyone or anything, but she's, my God, what a tyrant. Always needs something to yell about. And I'm talking about actually yelling too. Always, at the very least, either condescending behavior, very contrived stuff, doesn't need a reason for it, looking for a reason to be, or at the very least, just a cold, annoyed attitude if I approach her and need something, anything at all. And she's like that with most of the people on her team. There's a select few that she's kind of friends with, but and I know a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what started me thinking, I can't be here. Why am I a part of this? But what really made it sink in was something that offended my true self. The one that was hiding while I was working for this company and the one before that. And that has to do with the natural world, what I'm devoted to. That's why I'm here. These large corporations, they have trees cut down all over the place just so they can use the paper made from it to print on it an office memo that says, help us go green. Are you in ignorance of the irony of this? I'm not you, the company. Don't cut down the goddamn tree. Duh. Just stop doing office memos. I mean, come on. Compiled on that, the fact that the particular branch where I worked did not have a recycle bin. We had paper bins that a records facility regularly picked up and kept for, a couple of months and then destroyed and recycled. But the only thing we're allowed to put in there are paper documents with sensitive information on it. If it doesn't have that, then we're expected to throw it away. And that's a lot. I did a lot of scanning, had white paper that was mostly just white, but with the patch code sheet, it had like a bar scan strip on the side. So just white paper with a couple of black lines. But because it had no printed information about anybody's personal life, we were supposed to throw that away. So I started keeping my own pile so I could take responsibility of recycling it myself. And I was telling everybody else, hey, I have a pile on my desk. If you would, just put the non-sensitive info paper, all the other stuff that you're told to throw away, put it on my desk. I'll recycle it. They didn't like that. It bothered them that I didn't just throw it away. And I thought, what a weird thing. You're offended that I want to recycle paper? What is wrong with you? Both our bosses, people that's above you, and by you I mean my boss and my boss's boss, people above them are sending us emails and paper notices telling us, here's how we're going green. How will you join us in this effort? That here I am trying to do that, and I'm not provided a means with which to do it, even though it was pointless to begin with. Stop cutting down the trees. We don't need all that paper. Anyways, that's what really drove it in and made me stand up and look around and think, I need to go. Not only do I not belong here, but I will sicken inside if I stay. You want to know what life is all about? My ultimate point here is stuff that's can be said in many ways, all of it very, very simplistic. Let me show you what it's all about right here. That's my little girl, Nova. Last winter, the universe led her to my door the day before really freezing weather arrived. And I had dreamed about her very shortly before that happened. Think about every little moment that led to her being born, everything she's been through, whatever that was, to that moment where she arrived at my door. Me quitting my job. You can look at any given moment, but I would say pick a precious one. Like that. And think about everything that's happened leading up to then. This moment right now, me talking to you, telling you this story about Nova. The fact that I was given the opportunity to take her in. Now I have a new friend. She's like a guardian angel. And we kind of get to be that to each other. Simply realizing that, that when you really appreciate that, the truth of that it's not just a exaggerated, sentimental thought, passing thought. When you realize the truth, absolute truth in that. These things compiled one upon the other come to you more when you're living authentically. I need more of that. I need to be doing that always. I want everyone in the world to know that they can live an authentic life. It may not mean quitting your job. It may mean staying with a crappy job. I want to recommend, because a lot of people I know don't realize this, and still others don't want to realize it. Don't think of all the answers to all your questions as being out there somewhere. Every human being is a microcosmic version of the entire universe. This is why, since the advent of Christianity, the very idea of gnosis has been stomped upon and trampled. The idea and the people who have held that knowledge. The powers that be don't want you to know that you're capable of absolutely anything. Yeah, you. I'm not telling you not to be a Christian, just take a good, honest, open, wholehearted, complete look inside yourself. You may be surprised to find more answers than you knew were there. I'm like, right now, I'm like the fool of the tarot. I'm absolutely open to, well, I'm just absolutely open. I should leave it at that. This could go anywhere now. And I think this is where I've needed to be. There are reasons, I could worry about money, I could worry about um, you name it, the future in absolutely any context. But what has that ever done for anybody? And it's almost the ultimate irony that now that I've found this authenticity and peace and universal reciprocation in anything I look for it in or with, and that I'm looking to have open conversations with people and to talk about things philosophically. People resent that. People don't want to think too much about why they do the things they do. That may be one of the most fascinating things in human history. People want to act and tell other people how to act, but they don't want to consider the actual reasons why they do that. And they get very defensive and resentful at even the most subtle prompting to get them to do so. So you hear this old saying, know thyself. It's beautifully simple. Everything else falls into place once you know thyself. Your questions become more refined. You know what to do. You know why you do it, and you want to keep knowing why you do the things you do or things you don't do. But just as people want to push you into doing things their way, with something like this immense, this self-knowledge, the same thing applies. If you try too hard to get them to look within themselves, it's the same thing you got mad about or questioned for them doing to you. You're just doing it with better reasons. So if somebody doesn't want to look honestly and openly at themselves, don't push it. I just wanted to share a few moments with everybody now that I'm at this completely peaceful, open place in my life. We're all spiritual, conscious beings. Why are not we all spending all our times acting on that, instead of constantly giving our power and consciousness away to other people, to faceless corporate or governmental entities who claim a right over it? All of those things continue to exist because people fear them, because people allow themselves to feel powerless before them or beneath them, as the case may be. Governments and corporate brand names, financial institutions, all of this soul-sucking crap is coming to an end. I think deep inside, most people, if not all, somewhere deep inside are aware of this, in the knowledge, whether subconscious or not, that it's necessary, that the new paradigm is needed. And by new paradigm, I mean also rediscovering the original one. This should be Earth. By this, I mean Earth should be a spiritual, creative playground. We're naturally creative beings. And don't ever forget what consciousness is and what it implies. That is absolutely anything that already exists and absolutely anything that you can imagine. In consciousness, it already does exist. Thoughts become things. Thoughts are things. Let's stop sucking each other's souls out and throwing it in the meat grinder and get to playing. "2014 is the year my twin flame and I make a legal bond of our sacred love. I quit my job in part because of that ultimate reason. That was supposed to be the entire subject I was going to talk to you about, was me quitting my job and kind of a corporate rant in general. But I realize a while later that I've branched out quite a bit. I can't say it enough. Do absolutely anything you have to be authentic. A lie here and there is going to compound. It's going to get harder to deal with later. There are some things you may not even think of as lies when you're living an inauthentic life. People patting each other on the backs. It's all just keeping up appearances. It doesn't matter whether your company's better than the other guys or not. You're putting how much money you're making on a higher pedestal than the reason the company went to business in the first place, which was to provide a service. I mean, do I even need to mention insurance companies where their employees are trained to find any way possible to deny a claim so that the employees can make more money? Again, I understand everybody needs a job, everybody needs to work, but we also need to be living in a society that does not force that to become the guiding principle of people's lives. Is how much do you make? It's an impossible situation. No wonder we have new illnesses and diseases coming up all the time. No wonder most people, I mean that, most people alive have some kind of psychological sickness. Even someone like me who's opened their eyes to that, to the immense scope of that, is always in danger of it because people don't like it when other people wake up to this stuff. And so their defensiveness increases, and ego action. They basically get upset with you for not seeing things the way they do, and there's nothing you can do about it but sit back and watch them make a spectacle of themselves. And we're supposed to believe that we've gone outside of reality when, being awake, we know that the reverse is true. We've come back to it from this phony stage full of contrived plays that nobody's interested in, but everybody's pretending to be interested in. It's like you have two people standing behind you, each with a gun to your back, forcing you to pretend to enjoy the show that's on stage, and threatening you that pretty soon it's going to be your turn to go up there. One of these two is a representative of your local government, and the other is a representative of the religion most popular in your area. Sometimes they bicker with each other. Sometimes they make jokes with each other. Sometimes they start to point the gun at each other. Usually they're whispering in cahoots, keeping the gun pointed at you. So in that way, being in the audience is just as much, is also like being on stage. Forced into a position of fear. I mean, are you kidding me? Because of my twin flame, because we found each other, it's entirely because of her, because of our reunion in this life, that I am spiritually fearless. It's almost laughable to me. If it were not harming humanity all the time in every conceivable way, I might be insane with laughter by now about all this. Because the actions of so many people, especially collectively, towards other people individually, is how can we keep this person in fear? And I live to see this crap stop. I live to see, or if not see, then know in some way, that every living human being, every living being, not just human, is conscious, is fully awake, might hang on to some of your current beliefs if you really, if they continue to ring true, while also remaining open to other possibilities. Just be open, be true. And I can't say it enough, live an authentic life. Again, it sounds like sentimental crap, but it's not. Love and light to all of you. Absolute love and light. May you all find clarity where you need it. May you all give and receive love equally. I think a lot of people out there need to hear that, need to know. And I said this before, I think in another context. Don't expect great, wonderful, magical things to happen just as if they all exist outside of yourself. They're not going to come to you. You have to attract it. People keep trying to convince each other this stuff is just happenstance. It's just going to fall in by circumstance. And Oh, this was the love I've been looking for all my life. Where's it been? Well, you thought it was nothing more than stuff you see in movies. So you couldn't recognize it the many times it came along right in front of you. All those things you aspire to be, those beautiful ideas you have, the seed of it all is you. All you have to do is find out what kind of artist you are. To anyone who's still watching this, first of all, I'm sorry I went off on so many subjects. Then again, I'm not. But also, to those of you who are still watching, I love you. That's what we need to bring back in the world. The major driving force. Nobody wants to admit it, but the major driving force is how can we keep these other people in fear? You know, people outside of us, because we're always right, huh? You know, them. It's us versus them. They are wrong and I'm right. Once you get to my place, you know, what I think politically or religiously, well, then you'll be in the right also, and you can start wagging a finger in other people's faces. Republicans do it to Democrats, Democrats do it to Republicans, liberals, conservatives, conservatives to liberals, Islam to Christianity, Christianity to Islam, you name it. This, like a couple of kids in the back seat just got caught doing something naughty, and they're both sitting back there. He did it. No, I didn't. You did it. Yeah, well, you made me do it. That's what's happening. You don't need any more explanation about that. You see that in politics every day, in religion. We're right and they're wrong. Let's all ease that away. Let's all help others to ease that away. In taking a good, hard, open, long look at yourself, you're going to see some things you don't like. You're going to see some things I hope you're going to want to get rid of. And why not? Why would you not want to cleanse yourself, to purify yourself? Maybe you'll come out of it wanting a different religion or no religion or different political party. Are you afraid of that? Are you actually afraid of the possibility of any kind of change? Even if it's not one that drastic, you're going to have to be ready for change. And I hope you can do that. So altogether, let's change that driving motivational force of how can we continue to be afraid ourselves and to intentionally keep those others in fear of us. A lot of you want to entirely relegate that to Illuminati stuff, but people do it individually to turn that motivation of fear into absolute, universal, divine love. Not only is it possible, it's already here. Look around. Look for it. It's going to be more subtle than manifestations of fear and doubt and worry. That can be seen all too easily, and that's why people concentrate on it. Things like love and hope and consciousness, that's, of course, it's going to be more subtle. I could say so many things that people who all this sounds alien to are going to think sounds just, hokey and new agey, artsy fartsy nonsense. If you want to keep thinking like that, that's okay. That's your own decided ignorance. And we all have that to one degree or another, even those of us who are awake. Hell, if we didn't decide to remain ignorant about some things, then there'd be too much information to process all at once, and who can do that with the human brain? It's all coming here to transform any fear inside yourself into love. Don't wag a finger in anybody's face about anything. No matter how well you've studied or know a subject, it's all worth nothing if it's all about you standing over someone telling them how it is without the ability of learning yourself. We learn the most from people when they're not teaching us. I think most of you have noted that in your life. We can't tell anybody what to do with any kind of righteousness. We can't even make suggestions unless we first looked inside ourselves and cleaned out any even potential remnants of heavy, dark crap inside. That's the point of gnosis. Know yourself before you can know anything outside yourself. If you spend most of your time working for a company, allowing yourself to care about all the little things you have to do there, and bettering yourself with their online courses and, oh God, dictated, morals and behavior. Yes, I'm serious. How's that going to make you a better person? Why should that take precedence? But find work that's right for you. That you're not just settling for, well, I need a job, I'm just going to take one. I understand. Believe me, I understand that happens. Do it only as long as you have to. Because if we keep doing it that way and everybody's doing that, then we're ensuring these faceless corporate entities continue on generations from now. And so while humans get their souls sucked out of them, what is it that's living on with all of the energy taken from them? A company name. That's it. That's what gets to live on the life of humanity. So what was it all worth at the end of it all? Nothing. I want all of you, not just those of you watching, I want all of you, all of us, to rise up out of it. It's the only way we're going to get rid of all these sicknesses in every area of life, psychological as well as spiritual and physical. This industrial slavery is what's causing it. Everybody who doesn't see that is either in denial or in ignorance. Find a way to attune yourself to the natural world. We're intended for that. We keep pouring concrete over Earth and putting up billboards and having sounds blaring at us from cities that has an effect, really, spiritual as much as psychological. You get used to this stuff and take it for granted and having to hear commercials everywhere. I can't look up at the night sky and just look at absolute darkness with a couple of bright stars peeking down at me without hearing an airplane go by, without hearing a car drive by. The industrial world enforces itself into our lives. There are other ways. I don't claim to have all the answers. All that's important is that we be open to the idea of rising from it and creating a different, better world. It can be done. This is not just sentimental talk. But the only way it's going to happen is if everyone, say it with me now, lives an authentic life. Because if you don't, you're going to have to be lying to yourself and others. And how is that not going to cause psychological trauma down the line, which is going to keep building and building. You can free yourself from that. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your situation, you can free yourself from that by simply deciding to do whatever you have to be authentic. Know yourself, and in so doing, know the universe and all you are capable of. You're a divine being. Do you really know that? You are a divine, creative being. You can do anything you can think. I better be done now. This has gone on a while. Enough. Love and light to everybody. Love and light.